another exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Papergoy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
To anybody new to the channel, I'm Papergoy. I have a day job. I work out of my house. I have 40,000 items listed on eBay and Amazon. I'm trying, and I'm going to give you the perspective of the small seller.
And I'm Mr. Magazine with the big warehouse, 15 employees, and close to 500,000 items online.
So we have a topic we're going to talk about, but we're not talking about it today because we were just talking in between the videos, and we're going to talk about employee costs.
Oh, throwing an audible out
we are throwing an audible, but it actually was a really good conversation right before this video, and I think it's going to be a really good conversation here.
All right.
And it's going to kind of tie into everything is cost structures that you have that I don't have. I'm the small seller. I'm doing it all myself. Leave out, obviously, I pay eBay fees for the store, and leave out the fact that I'm working out of the house, so I'm always surrounded by work.
Right.
And sometimes the house gets a little messier than it should. So I do have those problems. And of course, I have to buy the product, et cetera, et cetera. But leave all of that out. Those are just general things. My only expense, realistically, take $1,000 capital, I invest in stuff. Okay, that's $1,000 is my expense. But beyond that, my only expense is time.
Right.
That's really what my expense is. If I list something today, I list something today. If I don't list something today, I don't list something today. I happen to be lucky enough that I have the legacy of the 40,000 items listed, so I'm going to sell something. But even let's say that all of a sudden everything opens up and I say to my wife, we're going away to Vegas for a week, and I put everything on vacation.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. I've got the day job money coming in. I've got a couple of dollars, literally a couple of dollars in the bank, et cetera, et cetera. So I can shut everything down and open it back up. A few years ago, I went back to the Philippines for 3 weeks and shut everything down, and then came back and opened everything back up. And it didn't do my pocketbook any good.
Right.
But I wasn't living in a cardboard box at the end of those 3 weeks. So my cost structure as a small guy working out of the house is low, and that gives me a tremendous advantage over somebody else because you have a lot more expenses. Do I have to pay my mortgage? Yes. But I need a place to live anyway.
Right.
So I'm going to have my mortgage anyway.
Yeah.
You have where we're sitting at right now.
Yeah,
Well, I don't exactly know where we're sitting at right now,
Exactly.
but pretend we didn't have the green screen.
Yeah.
You'd see a giant warehouse around here.
Warehouse, a bunch of employees, expensive lighting. We got storage units outside that we're paying on. And
and even the things that people don't think about that add up.
banker boxes.
You have an alarm. You have to pay a monthly alarm.
Yeah.
Don't you also have to pay, I believe, $50 license or fee to the city every year just to have an alarm?
Yeah, the fire alarm, I think, is around that price. Yep.
Yep, you got a $50.
Yep.
You've got sprinklers as required by law. You have to get those inspected every year.
Heater inspected every year.
They'll come around and they'll inspect the various fire extinguishers and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
And if a fire extinguisher gets older, what do you need to do?
Get a new one.
New one. And what does that run?
Oh, geez, $100-something now by the time they certified and all that jazz. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't just go to the local Home Depot and pick out some just random fire extinguisher and have it sitting there. And have one fire extinguisher sitting in the... I mean, I can't at my house.
Yeah, for your house, right, not for your business.
But for your business, no. You have to have them every X number of feet.
Exactly.
They have to be certified for this. They have to be... And that all starts adding costs.
The shelving units.
Costs.
We talked about the shelving units costing over $1,000 per unit. We got over 100 of them now. So it's a lot of unseen costs.
Well, and what spurred this conversation, and I guess what I'm saying is, if you're a smaller seller like me, understand the costs that a larger seller like him has, and I don't want anybody to undercut you, but I'm telling everybody to undercut him because we can do so.
You can do so. Right.
We can do so. Our cost structure is a lot lower than yours.
Yeah.
I can afford to pay more on an item than you.
Yeah.
And so
and charge less.
Yeah. So I can beat you. I got you coming and I got you going.
Right.
The downside is I buy 1,000 magazines, you buy 1,000 magazines, and in regular time, if you dedicated your group to listing it, you could have it listed in a day or two.
Correct.
I can't.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
So that's the advantage that you have. But we've always talked, and this was with minimum wage being around $10, your cost being around $10. We've always talked that it cost you about 50 cents to get an item listed, about 50 cents to get an item pooled when it sells,
Right.
and about 50 cents to get an item packed.
Yeah.
And you know what we weren't taking into account when we were talking about that 50 cents?
What's that?
We weren't talking about the cost of actually printing out the pool sheet.
Yeah.
So
Printing
you had
as well,
$1.50, and then you've got the time put into printing the
Yeah.
order out for people to be able to know what to pull and pull it and all
Right.
that. So you
And
historically,
that's like 2 to 3 hours worth of work every day, easily.
yeah.
Yeah.
So historically, you probably had $1.75 additional costs.
Plus the item. Yeah.
Yep. So your costs were $1.75 more than mine,
Yeah.
just to start with.
Yeah.
So what's going on with minimum wage at the end of the year here?
Well, it's been slowly creeping up from, I think it was $7.50 5 years ago. Now it's up to $12.50. So it's been creeping up 75 cents a year, and it's going to $15 next year. So that's a $2.50 hike in 1 year. So that's big. Yeah.
So you're going to be at $15 an hour.
For a minimum.
Minimum wage.
Everyone
And
else
obviously
that
you're
been
going to be
working here
paying
a
more.
while. Yeah, exactly.
And then the other thing that a lot of people out there may not realize, and again, this is a big advantage of us as a small seller. So you give your guy $15, he's on your books, you give him $15,
Yeah.
he takes home $12.50 or whatever he takes home. That's it, right? That's the extent of your cost, is just the $15 you pay him, right?
No, absolutely not.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You mean you're required by law to carry workers' compensation?
Absolutely.
You have to have statutory disability?
Absolutely.
Family medical leave?
Do we have that yet?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's
yeah,
the law.
yes,
Yeah,
you
we
do.
have
Yes,
that,
you
yeah.
do.
Yeah,
have
no one's
that.
used it yet. Let's put it that way. I don't
Yep,
think.
no, you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
What do you have to pay into an unemployment?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
and
We do 401k, which is an option, but I do offer that.
you also have to cover the employer half of the FICA
There you
and
go.
Medicare,
Yeah.
Medicaid, whatever Medicare, I guess it
Things
is.
I forget about. Yes. Yep.
But that's 7.5% right there. The unemployment's another 2.5%.
Yeah.
The workers' comp's another 4%, and these are all things that go on top of their wages. So if I'm paying $10 an hour, and I'm paying 15% on top of it for all those various charges,
Yeah.
I'm paying $1.50.
Yep.
If I'm paying $15 an hour, I'm still paying 15%. Except
Right.
now, instead of being $1.50, it's $2.25.
Yeah.
So we figured out before the show that your costs per item are going up to have it found, pooled, packed, 75 cents to $1 per item.
Right. Yeah.
So let's add in the cost of the pull sheet. You're probably at $3 per item that you sell in costs.
Yeah. So even if I charge $1.50 handling, I'm losing money on the shipping.
You are losing money. Yeah.
Factor getting that to the customer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yep.
crazy.
So you've got $3 cost, whereas 5 years ago you had $1.50 cost.
Right.
And so you have no option except to raise your prices.
Yeah.
You
I
have to.
I have to
because
pay
you have-
less if I'm lucky enough to pay less than you. And
When
I
you're buying an
certainly-
item,
And I
yep.
certainly have to charge more.
Charge more, pay less. Yeah. And that's just to stay even.
Yeah. To compete with you. Or if I have unique items, then it's less of an issue. But if we're both selling Motor Trends, why would someone buy it from me? Unless I'm cheaper than you for whatever reason. So.
Yeah, either off price or off reputation. You could
Right.
you could make some sales off reputation and that kind of thing. But it's just kind of crazy when you really get down to it how much your costs are, and
Yeah.
you're not the only larger person that has these costs. I mean,
Yeah.
anybody that's got employees in New York State is running into this.
Right.
Let alone the property taxes, let alone.
Yeah, remind me. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. I think they're due soon.
Yeah, but these are all just costs that we little dealers don't have to deal with, and gives us a definite advantage. So I would be foolish not to take advantage of that.
Sure.
Now I'm in a special little situation compared to somebody that's just starting out with zero positives. Somebody may be willing to pay more to you because you've got how many positives at this point?
180,000 maybe?
Yeah, you have 180,000 positives. I'm just starting out and I have 2 positives.
Right.
Somebody may be willing to pay $1 or $2 extra to you because of that.
Right.
You lose that advantage realistically when comparing yourself to me because I've got over 50,000.
Yeah.
I don't think in the history of eBay anybody has ever gone on eBay and said, I'm not buying from this guy. He only has 50,000 positives.
Well, they have not bought from me because I had 2 or 3 negatives, though, which is still crazy to me. If I had, I think, 100,000 positives at the time and 3 negatives for 30 days, and like, oh, geez, I'm looking at all your issues. I'm like, it's still a higher success rate than Walmart, Target.
Oh,
you know,
God,
yeah,
yes.
so
God,
like,
yes.
that was, I just felt that was very funny.
So I guess what we're saying out there to you is if you're a small seller, a one-man band, know where your advantages are and know that you can afford to pay a little bit more because you don't have those expenses. And even if I price at the same price as you, my positives are close enough to yours that it's not nobody's going to be scared away buying from me.
Sure.
And I can actually pay $1 more than you per item.
Yeah.
And end up making more money because you've got all those employee costs in.
Yeah.
And again, but the other side of the coin is if you're a larger dealer watching this, go to your strengths. Your strength is you can get this. You can do volume that I can't possibly do.
Yeah. If they're $15 magazines and they list 1,000 in 2 days, I just added $15,000 in inventory to my store where you couldn't do that overnight.
No.
Yeah.
And let me ask one other quick question here while we're on this topic, just kind of to highlight an advantage that you have.
All right.
A slow day on eBay and Amazon, how many items do you ship out?
Close to 200. A little under 200 would be a slow day.
So you have a slow day where you ship 200 items out, and the poolers and all that, the packers, they then have some extra time left over to organize the packing supplies to make things easier in the future.
List more, whatever,
to do whatever they happen to be doing, and you've still got items going up online.
Right.
If I sold 200 items in a day, how many items am I listing that day?
Zero.
Am I getting those 200 items packed and out?
No.
Maybe.
Well, it's going to be a long day. You'll be very tired.
I'm not sleeping.
Yeah, it's going to be a long day for you.
So your advantage is to accentuate the volume because you have the staff to do that. That's where you can blow me out of the water. Mm-hmm. You can deal with the volume. I can deal with the one-off deals and pay more than you on the one-off deals and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But somebody comes along with 10,000 magazines, you can blow me out of the water because you can buy them, get them listed and sold.
Right.
I can't. They're going to be, I don't think I have any room left in the basement or the garage to have them sitting in. So I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I'll be sitting in my car, I guess. So know where you're at and know what your advantages are. I've got a major advantage over you cost-wise. Yeah. So the small guy has a big cost advantage. You have a major advantage over me volume-wise.
Yeah.
So accentuate what you can do, and you will make a good living doing it that way.
Right.
So do hit the like button. Do comment down below if you see an advantage that a small guy has or a larger seller has.
Yeah.
And hit the like button, comment down below. We do answer all comments, and we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.